You've probably heard someone say this, and maybe it was even you yourself, and be like, I'm just waiting for the right time. The right time to leave that job, the right time to start that business, or simply the right time to have that conversation that you've been avoiding for 2 years. And every year, the right time keeps moving further away, like a finish line that keeps resetting itself the closer it gets. And somehow everyone around them calls it patience. And they'll be like, it's just being careful. Yeah, she's just being wise. She's not trying to rush. But what if I tell you that what looks like patience most of the time is not patience at all? It's fear wearing a much nicer name. Well, this is Under the Surface, where we talk about the choices, the pressures, and the behaviors shaping everyday life. I'm Julius Owolabi, and today I want to explain how to tell the real difference between genuine patience and simply being too afraid to act. Think about someone who has been waiting for the right time for a long time. The right time to leave the job, to start the business, to have the conversation, or simply the right time to walk away. And then every year their story remains the same. They'll be like, I'm almost ready. I need just a little more preparation. Or I need just one more sign to start. And every year the right time keeps moving further away, like a finish line that has a way of not arriving anytime soon. And then some of them even know it themselves, and they'll be like, yeah, I know. I keep saying I'm about to start. Said lightly, almost like a joke. But when it's repeated so often, it stops sounding like a joke at all. And the way I see it, real patience and fear can seem identical from the outside because both involve waiting. But the real test isn't in the waiting itself. It's in what's actually happening on the inside while the waiting goes on. And there are a few distinctions that separate the two. And once you know them, they are not quite so hard to spot in others and then eventually in yourself. Firstly, real patience is active, while fear patience is passive. Think about someone that has been genuinely preparing to start a business. They've been saving a specific amount, learning a specific skill. They've been building toward a time that they can actually point to. Now think about someone else that has been researching the same business for 3 years. They've been reading, they've been watching videos, they've been buying courses after courses, but never actually registering the business, never taking the first real step. And you see, on the outside, both of them, they look like they are working on it. But one is actually building towards a real moment, while the other one is circling around the moment and never landing on it. Secondly, fear patience is protecting from public failure. Think about someone who has told almost everyone around them about their plan. Their family, their friends, and maybe they even posted about it online. And then they keep delaying month after month. You see, part of what's happening is that if they never actually start, then they can never actually fail. And then the delay is no longer about the time. It becomes more about staying safe from being seen while it doesn't work. Then thirdly, fear patience never seems to have a finish line. Think of it this way. When you ask someone, when do you think you will be ready? You see, real patience can almost give you the answer clearly. They can be like, yeah, when I've saved this specific amount, when I've achieved this milestone, or when I'm done with this particular course. But fear patience gives you something much more bigger. They can be like, when I feel ready. And feeling ready is like a moving target that has a way of never quite arriving. And there's also the identity of being about to. Because there's a strange comfort in being the person who is always on the verge of something. Because it feels active without the risk of actually trying. Notice how someone can introduce themselves as about to launch or about to start for years. And there's a strange comfort in that phrase because it keeps the dream alive and untested at the same time. Simply because it can never actually fail, only be delayed a little more. And there's also the fact that fear patience measures itself in time past, not progress made. Notice how some people be like, I've been preparing for this for 3 years, said with a certain weight as if time passes alone proves how serious someone really is. But 3 years only means something if something has been built through it. Maybe money saved, a skill sharpened, or a plan that is tested. But a farmer that has been planning for 3 years to plant a crop has not been patient for 3 years. It's just been standing still and calling the standing patience. And last but not least, fear patience often measures itself on someone else's permission. Think of it this way. Notice how the right time is not always about a specific date or a number, but about a person. I'm waiting to see what my partner thinks. I'm waiting for my mentor to give me a go ahead, or I'm waiting to see if my family comes around the idea. And you see, there's nothing wrong in wanting input from people that are close to you. But there's a difference between weighing someone's advice and quietly handing them your decision, so that if it goes wrong, the decision was never fully yours to begin with. Well, there may be another side to this, because I don't want it to seem as if every long wait is secretly fear. Because some situations genuinely require long, unglamorous waiting, like saving a real amount or building a skill properly before it's safe to rely on. You see, those are not fear. That's discipline doing its work. Because the real test isn't in the waiting itself. It's whether the person can clearly name what they are waiting for. And if they can point to a specific something they are waiting for, like an amount or a milestone, then that's not fear. That's patience working in the background. And here's the thing. A farmer who has planted a seed and is waiting for an harvest is being patient, because the waiting is doing something, even if you can't see it yet. And even the farmer who planted the seed in the ground is not just going to sit idly by now and waiting for the harvest. He goes to the farm regularly, water the plants, and cut out the weeds that could hinder the plant's growth. But someone else holding the seed in their palm and preparing the soil for the 5th season in a row is not being patient, because no amount of waiting is going to turn a seed that you are still loading into an harvest. Patience has a destination, while fear just has an excuse. And the real difference is actually whether the seed is in the ground. Well, a useful question to ask yourself is, what exactly am I waiting for? And how am I going to know when it's arrived? Sit with that for a moment, and if you cannot answer it clearly, then you may not be waiting at all. You may be avoiding and simply calling it something gentler. Well, the real lesson here isn't that you should rush every decision you've been sitting with. It's that patience should be able to explain itself, and fear usually can't. Is there something you've been calling patience that might actually be fear? Well, if there is, you don't need to act on it today. You just need to name it out loud, even to yourself, what exactly it is you are waiting for. And once you can name it clearly, then you should be able to know almost immediately whether it's patience or it's fear.